So I just watched this really disturbing video from Comic Book Pro Secrets, or Ethan Van Sciver, and it was something that I wasn't aware of. I feel very naive after watching this video. And in this video, Comic Book Pro Secrets points out that a number of employees of Lucasfilm have doxed a Twitter user who has voiced their frustration towards the current Star Wars trilogy. And secondly, Ethan points out that one of the employees of Lucasfilm, Brian Young, has previously used Twitter to have sexually explicit discussions with young teenage girls. And I found both these points really disturbing. I'm just shocked that Disney and Lucasfilm are not taking action on this, because I just thought it was the fanboy tears mugs. So I've seen a number of those photos of Lucasfilm employees holding the fanboy tears mugs, and I thought, well, they shouldn't be doing it. It's not a way to treat any fans of a movie. And I just thought it was a bit silly. But to see these 2 points where they're doxing Star Wars fans and holding these sexually explicit discussions with teenage girls, it's just disgusting. And I think there is a way to put a stop to it, or to voice our concerns in a way that might have this problem addressed. And it's worth a try. But if I do it on my own, I don't think it's going to work. I need more people to support with it. It needs about 5 or 10 people. Now, first, I've got a cold, so I do apologise if I sound sniffly. But I'm going to explain to you what this process is. Now, first though, I've heard of Brian Young before, and I thought he was one of the Star Wars writers. He was writing books based on Star Wars. But when I looked into his books on Amazon, like, this is his most recent book, and the sales rank is 1.68 million in Kindle. So that's not even all books, that's just Kindle store. And if you look at the actual book sales is 3.6 million. So Brian Young is not an established writer. I thought he was. Based on his website, it makes it look like he's a good writer, like some of the other people within Lucasfilm are, and they publish Star Wars books. But that's completely false. And also thought that Brian Young was a reliable or current employee of Star Wars. But if you look, this is his latest post on the Star Wars website. So he had one in October 2018, and then that was missed until just now. So April 2019. So there's like nearly a 6-month gap of him writing for the Star Wars website. So I'm a bit confused by Brian Young's role. Now the truth is that Brian Young is just more of a puppet in this whole charade with these employees Lucasfilm who are prepared to harass and bully and dox Star Wars fans. One of the real people in this, now I'm saying this because I've gone onto Twitter and I've gone through the advanced search of Rian Johnson's Twitter account, and he shares tweets with this group of people. So this group of people that have been doxing Star Wars fans, Rian Johnson is openly communicating with them. So he doesn't shun them, he doesn't avoid them, and especially when the Star Wars movie comes out, and he's already confirmed that he's making future Star Wars movies, so he may be communicating with them more in the future. So when he's promoting his Star Wars movies, he's looking to use his people to help promote his movies. So this whole situation may come around again in the future, and it needs to put a stop to it, and there is a way that it might happen. And the step is that Rian Johnson is a member of the Directors Guild of America. So what I've done, and if you want to join me on this, it's completely your choice. What I've done, I've written a letter to the Directors Guild of America explaining my concerns towards Brian Johnson's association with these people. Rian Johnson has associated with himself with people who happen to be employees of Lucasfilm, who are openly doxing Star Wars fans, and then to undertake sexually explicit discussions with teenage girls. And the Directors Guild of America themselves do have a policy towards handling sexual harassment. Now, I'm not suggesting that Rian Johnson has himself undertaken this. He does associate himself with somebody who does do this, and that is Brian Young. So Brian Young has been found having sexually explicit discussions with teenage girls, and Rian Johnson will tweet back and forth with him. And that is not acceptable for a movie director, because these are supposed to be almost the pillars of modern society. People like Steven Spielberg, they are influential people. Whether we like it or not, they are seen as role models to some people. They are like celebrities. So if you had a celebrity who was associating himself with somebody who was sexually harassing somebody, that should not be condoned. And it should not be condoned for a Hollywood movie director as well. Especially something that relates to Star Wars, which is as popular and as esteemed as Star Wars. It should not take place. And the Directors Guild of America... Now, this is a copy of my letter, and this is to Mayra Ocampo, and I'll put her name and address in the description below, because she's the name on the process for the sexual complaints process for the Directors Guild of America. Again, I'm really sorry if my voice sounds terrible. I've got a cold and I'm really struggling with it. But I've written a letter because I have two concerns. I personally have two concerns. You have a Hollywood director who has an association with people who are doxing movie fans and then celebrating it online, and also has an employee of Lucasfilm who is using Twitter to have sexually explicit discussions with teenage girls. It's just wrong. I just cannot believe that Rian Johnson or any director of Star Wars would associate himself with this sort of behaviour. I'm not saying he's done it, but even to communicate with these people online, and I think he considered them to be friends. So what I've done is I've written this letter and I've included this image. This is the image of Rian Johnson, and this was tweeted towards him from this group of people. And if you go through the advanced search options for Rian Johnson, you can see he sends messages to these people. So he sent messages to Brian Young and to Pablo Hidalgo and other members of this group. So Rian Johnson, although he hasn't done these activities, he still communicates with them. And that to me is like an association. So I'm not accusing Rian Johnson of undertaking this process. And I've explained this in this letter. In this letter, I've expressed it is his association with these people. He still can. What I'm saying is it appears that he condones it. His association with people who will behave in this manner. And if you associate yourself with people, that is essentially condoning. If Rian Johnson wasn't communicating with the people, and you couldn't go through his advanced search options and see that he was sharing tweets with his people, then fine, but he has. And J.J. Abrams, you can't say that about him because he doesn't communicate with his people. He doesn't associate himself with these people. But these people are prepared to dox Star Wars fans or movie fans, because I don't want to focus it purely on Star Wars, because it's still an activity that shouldn't take place whether it's regardless to any movie. So it will dox movie fans, and then you have a member of this group who will then have a sexually explicit with movie fans. And this Directors Guild of America, they do have procedures for handling sexual harassment complaints. Now, I have read through this, and it seems to be the sexual harassment complaints, the very serious ones, obviously where it's almost physical contact and really disturbing, disgusting behaviour that we've heard about. But for a director to still associate themselves with people who will sexually target young teenage girls online is still wrong. It's still disturbing. In this article, what really motivated me to do this is there is something. Now here it says, in addition, the Guild successfully negotiated for online sexual harassment training for DJ members, and that would include Rian Johnson. So Rian Johnson is a DJ member, and here it says, online sexual harassment training for DJ members in our 2017 contract negotiations. The details of this training are being worked on now and should be rolled out soon. So the Directors Guild of America, what it looks like they're doing, they are going to train their members based on not only obviously physical sexual harassment, which we've heard about, but also online sexual harassment. And for me, again, I'm not saying Rian Johnson has undertaken online sexual harassment, but associating yourself or being friends with somebody who has undertaken online sexual harassment is still condoning it. You're still friends with somebody who is prepared to online target young girls and try to have sexually explicit discussions with them. It's just wrong. For me, the Directors Guild of America need to be aware of this, because they are aware of this issue of online sexual harassment, but that also includes being associated with people, because the Directors Guild of America, what they're concerned about is the whole image of directors. Let's say, for example, one director does something terrible. It brings down the whole image of all directors. Now, I'm not going to name any names, but I'm sure you can think of some. And Directors Guild of America, they don't want that. They want all the directors to behave in a professional manner. And what Rian Johnson is doing, in my opinion, is not professional. By associating with people who will dock movie fans and are prepared to undertake sexually explicit discussions with people, is not professional. That is not professional behaviour. You associate on a professional capacity, and that's what it is. They're all work. They're all paid by Lucasfilm. So that is a professional basis. They should undertake a professional role, and Rian Johnson is not doing that. He's associating himself online with people who behave completely unprofessionally, and it implicates him within the role of a director. So I've written this letter, and what I'd like you to do is to write your own letter. Now, that's of course if you agree with me. If you completely disagree with me and you think that Rian Johnson has no association with them, even though he has sent them tweets and he appears to condone what they do by producing images like the original images like this, then send Directors Guild of America a letter. Now, in this letter, I've said that they should investigate it and warn Rian Johnson. So I'm not suggesting, they remove Rian Johnson from the Directors Guild of America. I'm not suggesting that, and I think that would be overboard. And in this letter, just to confirm, in this letter, I suggest that they warn Rian Johnson and all other members of the Directors Guild of America, because this could grow. So in a few years from now, you hear about these stories on a regular basis of employees of production companies using social media to dox and sexually harass people, and using social media with the directors. So the Directors Guild of America need to be aware of this, then they should warn Rian Johnson and all other members that they should not associate professionally with people online who will behave in this manner. The doxing of movie fans and then disturbing and disgusting behaviour of undertaking sexually explicit conversations with teenage girls is just wrong. I'm still shocked, and I find it really disturbing to watch this video from Ethan Van Sciver, which points out the idea that this is what it's got to, regardless of the franchise, whatever franchise it is, and it just happens to be Star Wars. The idea that we've got to this is just disgusting. So I'd like you to help me with this, because my letter won't do enough. If 5 or 10 people write to the Directors Guild of America and point out your concerns towards Rian Johnson's association with these people, he appears to condone it. He's not shunning these people, because he tweets them on a regular basis, especially when he's directing or promoting Star Wars movies. So if Rian Johnson makes a future trilogy, which is himself confirmed, then he would be tweeting people, professional colleagues, who are doxing Star Wars fans and also prepare sexually explicit discussions with teenage girls. So for me, there needs to be a stop to this. And the reason why like I've said, I'm writing Directors Guild of America, is that Lucasfilm will not do anything. That it appears they do not care. If Star Wars fans are harassed online, they're bullied online, they're now doxed online, or they receive sexually explicit discussions or communications from their own employees, Lucasfilm will not do anything. So I'm hoping that Directors Guild of America do investigate this, and they give Rian Johnson a warning, and they say to Rian Johnson that if you continue to associate yourself professionally with people who behave in this manner, you will be removed from the Directors Guild of America. Now, some production companies, I believe, I might be wrong, but some production companies will only use directors who are registered with the Directors Guild of America, and I'm certain it's with actors. Unless you're registered with a certain actors union, like Hollywood will not hire you, and you have to be a member of this union. I may be completely wrong, but I've heard that. So Lucasfilm or Disney will only hire directors if they are registered with the Directors Guild of America, and the Directors Guild of America may provide some sort of vetting service. It's like an association that confirms that that director is a professional or performs in a professional way, and that's kind of why these guilds exist in an outline way, and it's designed to provide a certain set of standards. Including Rian Johnson's association with these people is not acceptable, it's not professional, it's completely disgusting, and it needs to stop. And I just can't believe it. I'm so annoyed that Lucasfilm and Disney are allowing this to happen, and it needs to put a stop to it. So if Directors Guild of America finds some information and they give Rian Johnson a warning, that would hopefully be a warning to all these Lucasfilm employees just to stop. They may have their opinions, they can have their opinions, but for them to be behaved the way they are on social media is just disgusting. They are harassing people, they are doxing people, they are bullying people, and above all else, even more, which I can't even believe, I struggle to say it, they're targeting young teenage girls and having sexually explicit conversations with them about Star Wars characters. It's just disgusting. You cannot make this stuff up. It needs to put a stop to. And Rian Johnson is a member of this Directors Guild of America, and I just hope they warn him. Again, I'm not saying they throw him out, but they warn him that he should not have an association with these people, and that might put a stop to it. So please support me with this. If you agree, please write to the Directors Guild of America. I'll leave the name and the address below. Write a letter. Now, I'm doing mine anonymously, okay? So, and you can do that also. So you can write to them anonymously, outline your concerns, and suggest they investigate it, and they give Rian Johnson a warning. And if you have any comments, if you disagree, leave your comments below. But please support me with this if you do agree. If you're not happy with what's happening, if you find what these Lucasfilm employees are doing is horrendous, is horrific, and it needs to stop, then this may be the only way that we can put a stop to it. So again, please support me with this. I'll put the address below and write a letter anonymously and outline your concerns towards Rian Johnson's association with these Lucasfilm employees who are prepared to behave in this disgusting and disturbing manner. And secondly, I'm also going to send a copy of this directly to Lucasfilm. I'm going to address it to Kathleen Kennedy, because she needs to know, if she doesn't know already, how her employees are behaving, because it's disgusting. The idea that Star Wars fans are going on Twitter and they're now being exposed and doxed by Lucasfilm employees is just disgusting. I've had enough. And this seems to be the only way to put a stop to it. So please support me with this. Again, if you don't want to, or if you disagree, leave your comments below. But for me, I really hope that you support me with this, and we may be able to put a stop to this.